Shantipur. So today's discussion will also be based on Shantipur. We will start our discussion with a short vision, short clarification of the concept. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Shri Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda. So we are very happy that we will be going to a very glorious place called Shantipur. And there is another glorious, very glorious personality who is called as Shantipur Nath. He is AdvaitaAcharya. So many of the pastimes which have happened in Shantipur, it has become glorious due to the presence of AdvaitaAcharya. And because wherever AdvaitaAcharya is there, automatically Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda will be there. So the whole thing becomes even more glorious. So Shantipur is essentially the home of Sri AdvaitaAcharya. But he also had a home in Navadvip. But essentially before Navadvip he was staying in Shantipur. Now all of us know who is AdvaitaAcharya. He is the original Shiva in the spiritual world, Sadashiva, and Mahavishnu. And all of us know who is Mahavishnu by his inhalation and exhalation. So many universes are getting created and destroyed. That Mahavishnu and Sadashiva, their eternal desire is to be a loving servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In fact, I correct myself. The mood of AdvaitaAcharya is to be a loving servant of the servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, Mahavishnu, Sadashiva, they have incarnated, invented themselves to become a servant of the servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, throughout the discussion, we will be deriving some lessons. And then towards the end, we will spare 5 minutes where we will see what lessons we would like to take away with us as a part of this discussion. So lesson number 1. The highest bliss which even Mahavishnu and Sadashiva are looking for is the eternal service of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. And so therefore they went as AdvaitaAcharya in the mood of the servant of a servant, just to serve Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his servants. So the highest bliss lies in service to Radha and Krishna. This is the first lesson which we will have. Now, AdvaitaAcharya was the son of a personality called Kuber Pandit. Kuber Pandit was his father and he used to reside in Navagraha. And then later on, AdvaitaAcharya got married to Sita Thakurani, who was the plenary extension of Mother Lakshmi. And then he shifted to Shantipur. Now we all know what AdvaitaAcharya has done. In many ways, we are all sitting here because of AdvaitaAcharya. Seeing the suffering and the miseries of the fallen conditioned souls of Kali Yuga, it was he who decided that Krishna has to advent. And it was he who started praying, who started fasting, who started crying, who started offering his heartfelt prayers to Lord Chaitanya, to Lord Krishna, that is descent in this material world. The Chaitanya Bhagavad describes how day after day offenses in the association, or rather the material fever was rising, and also the devotees were being offended. People were criticizing the devotees, people were misbehaving with the devotees. They had no regard for devotional service. Some people were saying that impersonalism is the root of devotional service. There is a very nice line which struck me. At that time, people were saying that devotional service is like a mirror and impersonalism are the eyes. What is the use of a mirror if you don't have eyes? So Acharya was being pained when he was hearing such statements. And at the same time, material fever was rising. People were becoming atheists. The Chaitanya Bhagavad describes that the condition of even Navadvip at one point of time was such that people would compete with each other to show their opulence. I have a daughter and I married my daughter in this way. Let me see how you marry her. Will you be able to beat me in the expenses which I have made? This kind of comparison, this kind of competition. And if the other person, by putting everything, would beat the previous person, then the previous person would find a female dog and get the female dog married, telling that it is my next daughter and I am giving you her. So this was the situation, and AdvaitaAcharya was the leader of all Vaishnavas. All Vaishnavas would go to him and cry and say their miseries. And he was understanding that other than Krishna himself, nobody can cause a change of heart in these people. So he was crying, praying and fasting. And where was all this happening? In Shantipur. So Shantipur is the place where the whole process of the advent of Lord Chaitanya started. started. And we all know why Lord Chaitanya invented. He invented to experience the love of Srimati Radharani. He invented to understand how sweet, or the extent or depth, extent of his sweetness. And he also wanted to spread this love of Srimati Radharani to everyone. This is something which no other incarnation has done before. The three internal reasons why he invents. And AdvaitaAcharya is the cause of it. Also, Haridas Thakur was also involved. After the Gopal Chapel incident, Haridas Thakur started staying in Pulia, which was very close to Shantipur. And often Haridas Thakur would come to the house of AdvaitaAcharya to study Srimad Bhagavatam. And at that time, Haridas Thakur would see how with love-filled heart and devotion daily, AdvaitaAcharya was crying, praying, fasting, offering Ganges, water and tulsi leaves to the Shaligram Shila and to his mother Gopal deities. So Haridas Thakur took shelter of AdvaitaAcharya. And in Shantipur, AdvaitaAcharya was constantly praying. And nearby Haridas Thakur was constantly chanting. And these both were sincerely hoping and praying that very soon Lord Krishna is going to repent. So this is the whole background of this entire Shantipur area and the AdvaitaAcharya. And then we all know, as Lord Chaitanya invented, even though they were in Shantipur, they came to know that something very great has happened. So therefore, as we discussed, he also has a house in Navadvip. So he came and he started staying in Navadvip. As Nimai Pandit was growing up, he was coming and staying in Navadvip. The elder brother of Nimai Pandit, Vishwarup, used to attend the classes of AdvaitaAcharya. So he was very much attached to AdvaitaAcharya. And Nimai Pandit as a small child would come, and when the mother, Shachi Mata, would be looking for Vishwarup, so Nimai Pandit as a small child would come and end up the class. It's like this session is going on, a small child would come and say, let's say the ranks or go out. And everybody stops discussing and starts looking at the child. What a nice child. Such a nice disturbance. We hope that this disturbance comes again and again. So this was the Yogamaya potency of the Lord. Every time AdvaitaAcharya was seeing Nimai Pandit, a small child, he was feeling very much attracted. But by the Yogamaya influence of the Lord, even at this point of time, AdvaitaAcharya had not realized that this Nimai is the Supreme Personality of God. What to speak of AdvaitaAcharya? Nobody in Navadvip had realized that. Everybody, their only occupation was they would take a dip in the Ganges early morning and find some excuse to go to the house of Jagannath Krishna and see this beautiful boy, Nimai. And that was the only reason why they existed. Somehow, if not in the morning, then in the afternoon, if not in the afternoon, in the evening, if not in the evening, in the night, somehow take darshan of Nimai and do some seva to him. Nimai as a child was a very naughty child, but still they used to like him. So these are the pastimes. And then, fast forwarding, Nimai Pandit decided to go to Gaya. Nimai Pandit also saw that the offenses towards the devotees are increasing, the atheism is increasing, the material fever is increasing. So he decided that the reason for my advent has to be brought, means I have to take up the mood of a devotee, and this is the main reason of my descent, so I should exhibit this pastime. So this is in brief the purport of Nimai Pandit going away. He wanted to display that how important it is to have the mercy of the spiritual master, how important it is to get the seed of the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra from the spiritual master, and how important it is to do it as an instruction from the spiritual master, this process of chanting. So therefore he went to there and accepted initiation, and then started immediately displaying this mood as a devotee, and then he came back to the AdvaitaAcharya brought the news that Nimai Pandit has become a Vaishnava. And he has become a Vaishnava which no one has ever seen before. That kind of Krishna consciousness, that kind of ecstasy, that kind of bhava was never displayed ever. Ever. So AdvaitaAcharya was thinking, just like this Brahmana in Sri Lanka, when he met Lord Chaitanya, simply by seeing Lord Chaitanya, he understood that this is Krishna. Just like Ishwar Puri, every time he used to meet Lord Chaitanya, he used to say that after meeting you, I get the same bliss which I get after meeting or seeing, taking darshan of Krishna. So therefore I conclude that you are Krishna himself. AdvaitaAcharya was also having the same conclusions by now. But he didn't have any proof. He could not establish it formally. So one day, Nimai Pandit, the devotee Nimai Pandit, along with Vedanta, he went to the house of AdvaitaAcharya. And then he saw how devotionally, how with so much of bhava, AdvaitaAcharya was offering Ganges and tulsi leaves to his Shaligram Shila and worshipping his mother Gopal deities, and the way he was offering bhoga to them. Now the Lord is known as Bhavagrahi Janardana. Nimai Pandit, being the Bhavagrahi Janardana himself, when he saw the devotional ecstasy with which AdvaitaAcharya was trying to offer, he lost his consciousness out of bliss. He became very happy and he shouted the name of AdvaitaAcharya and he fainted. At that time, AdvaitaAcharya got more hints that this person is not an ordinary person. He must be the Supreme Personality of God. The whole Navadip is calling him Gaura Narayana, Gaura Hari. He is my God. He had that gut feeling in his heart. One day before, he had seen an incident which had made his belief even more strong. Srivas Thakur was a little bit afraid of hearing a rumor that some Yavana soldiers, some Mughal soldiers, they are coming and they are going to loot the houses, burn the houses, pollute the families, etc. So he was praying to Lord Krishna that please protect him. Please protect him. He was really afraid. At that time, Nimai Pandit did a pastime. He wanted to show that there is no reason for his devotees to be afraid. So he came and he kicked his leg and opened the door of Srivas Thakur and he said that why are you afraid when I am here? And then he did a miraculous, there were some conversations, and then he did a miraculous feat. He caught the knees of Srivas Thakur, whose name was, what was the name of the knees of Srivas Thakur? Narayani. And who was the son of Narayani? Vrindavan Das Thakur. And what is today? Discipline Day of Vrindavan Das. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is the incarnation of Vedas in Chaitanya. Just like other than Vedas, nobody can write down the pastimes of Krishna. Similarly, other than Vrindavan Das Thakur, it is inconceivable for anybody to write down the glorious pastimes of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. In the Chaitanya Bhagavad, many times it is mentioned that nobody can fathom the depth of the pastimes of Gauranga. And in the next Yuga cycle, when Vedas will come, he will elaborate the pastimes of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with greater detail and greater elaboration. I don't know what it means, but we should be very happy. Wherever we will be, we should be able to grasp this literature. Wherever we will be, we should be able to grasp this literature in the association of the bodies. So he saw, to strengthen the faith in Srivas Thakur, Gauranga, he simply told her to chant the holy names of Krishna. And she was a 5-year-old child, a girl, a small girl, a 5-year-old lady. But by the mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, she displayed highest ecstasies of devotional service. She started crying while chanting Krishna's name and rolling on the floor. And when Srimad Thakur saw this, he understood that this can be done only by Krishna. Namo Mahabhutanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauravacha. Only Krishna can award Krishna Prema, and the devotees of Krishna can award Krishna. So he understood that this was the Krishna, and WhitefieldAnnualYatra was silently folding with folded hands, he was seeing this pastime. And that day he became fully convinced that this is not. Next day, Nimai Pandit along with Gadadhar comes to the house of WhitefieldAnnualYatra, sees him offering various paraphernalia and worshipping Madan Gopal, deities very nicely. Out of happiness he fainted, and WhitefieldAnnualYatra thought, this is my opportunity. He told Siddhartha Thakurani, take all the 16 items of worship. And then he started worshipping the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nimai Pandit, who was presently unconscious. And Gadadhar is thinking, see the pure Maya potency of the Lord. By this time, Gadadhar is also not fully realized. Gadadhar is thinking that WhitefieldAnnualYatra is of the age of the grandfather of Nimai Pandit. Why is he worshipping a boy like this? So he asked WhitefieldAnnualYatra, why are you worshipping Nimai Pandit like this? WhitefieldAnnualYatra said, my dear Gadadhar, you are a constant associate of Nimai Pandit. How long will you keep thinking that he is just another boy of the world? And when Gadadhar heard this from the mouth of WhitefieldAnnualYatra, the words of WhitefieldAnnualYatra are as good as the Vedas. Then the faith of Gadadhar was increased. But then both of them are discussing that how do we establish this in the association? Or how do you have any proof, Acharya? So at that time, WhitefieldAnnualYatra thought that yes, I have to establish that Nimai is the Supreme Personality of God. And just like I started praying in Shantipur, so to establish this also I have to go in Shantipur. So he again went back to Shantipur, thinking that if Nimai Pandit is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he will come here, he will call me from wherever I am, display his eternal spiritual form to me, and establish, he will keep his head on my head, he will keep his feet on my head, and establish that he is the Supreme Personality of God. With this desire, WhitefieldAnnualYatra went away from the field back to Shantipur. So one day, when Nimai Pandit was continuing his pastimes in Navadvip, he called the younger brother of Srivas Thakur, whose name was Ramai Pandit. He said, Ramai Pandit, please come here. Please go to Shantipur and tell WhitefieldAnnualYatra that that same personality whom he was crying for, whom he was fasting for, whom he was praying to, whom he was offering bhoga to, has descended here. And he has descended primarily to make him happy. Ramai Pandit, when he saw that basically we were in the Rajeshwar mood of Nimai Pandit, he became very happy. And then he started running towards Shantipur. Vrindavan Thakur says that he didn't even know where WhitefieldAnnualYatra lives in Shantipur, but he started running towards Shantipur, and by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, he reached the house of WhitefieldAnnualYatra. And then as he goes and offers his obeisance to the Acharya, WhitefieldAnnualYatra says, I know why you have come here. I know who has sent you. Now you tell me why you have come here. And before Ramai Pandit could start speaking, he said, I know Nimai Pandit has seen you. How can I believe where it is written in the scriptures that the Supreme Personality of Godhead will descend in the land of Nadia and will exhibit pastimes in Kali Yuga? What proof is there? How can I believe that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? Tell Nimai Pandit that only if he comes here and displays his eternal spiritual form to me and keeps his leg on my head, then only I will believe that he is my Lord. and I'll be hiding now. My Pandit took this message, ran back to the way. When he went and offered his obeisances to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gauranga said, I know what Advaitacharya has told me. But it was basically running from Shantipur to Navdev to Shantipur, and both the personalities are displaying this pastime, which is inconceivable. Nobody can understand such pastimes. So nobody had an idea who can give purpose to these pastimes. What does that? Nimai Pandit used to call him Nada. Nada has various meanings, but one of the meanings of the word Nada is a shaved head person. So what does that Nada think of himself? If he will hide, I will not be able to find him. I will go and find him. Advaitacharya was thinking that everybody knows my house in Shantipur. Let me make the test a little bit more difficult. I will go and hide in the house of Acharya. Now, in Gaur Leela, whenever someone has to hide, they hide in only one place, and that is the house of Acharya. But still, it is such a difficult challenge to find. This is something which is unfathomable. This is touching the way of Veda. Every character hides in the house of Acharya, and that hide and seek game is becoming intense and intense and intense. So he went and hid in the house of Acharya, and Mahaprabhu went with his associates, displayed his effulgence, his eternal spiritual form as Gaur Narayana to him. And then he asked Sita Kalarani to bring the paraphernalia of worship. And he worshipped him very nicely, singing Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha, Jagat Hitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. And then after that, for the pleasure of Advaitacharya, Lord Chaitanya put his head, he put his leg on the head of Advaitacharya. That day, it was actually established in the association of devotees that yes, Nimai Pandit is the Supreme Personality of God. So we are so thankful to Advaitacharya that he did this pastime, which revealed the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Personality of God. But then, Nimai Pandit had not invented to do pastimes as the Supreme Personality of God. Nimai Pandit is the most merciful personality, the most compassionate teacher. He was noticing that people are unable to follow the teachings of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. So this is the lesson number 2 which we get today. That simply by reading scriptures, no one can understand what is Krishna consciousness. One needs to associate with highly elevated devotees who have realized those scriptures. And when we see the scriptures in action, then we will be able to go deeper in the instructions of Guru, in the association with other Vaishnavas, and in the subject matter of Krishna consciousness. Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas will become dearer to us, will become clearer to us, only when we associate with elevated personalities. So therefore, being the most compassionate teacher, Nimai Pandit assumed the form of a devotee, or the mood of a devotee, and he started exhibiting by his own behavior. Apane Acharya Prabhuji Vidasya. Just to show the world what is Krishna consciousness, what is bhakti, what is devotion, he was exhibiting the mood of a devotee. And because Advaitacharya was the disciple of Sripad Madhavendra Puri, who was the spiritual master of Sripad Ishwar Puri, so that day onwards, after this pastime of exhibiting the form as Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Chaitanya took the mood of a disciple in front of Advaitacharya. Lord Chaitanya would call everybody. He would call Haridas Thakur, he would call Nityananda Prabhu, and he would give instructions, ye karo, wo karo, go and beg from house to house. Teach them Krishna consciousness, ask them to chant Krishna, ask them to worship Krishna, ask them to dedicate their life for Krishna. But he was not giving any instruction to Advaitacharya. Advaitacharya was thinking,
Lord, has he disowned me? Why is he not talking to me? He's giving instructions to Haridas Thakur, he's giving instructions to Nityananda Prabhu, he's giving instructions to everybody. But when it comes to me, he seeks instructions from me and he himself follows it. So AdvaitaAcharya was feeling so frustrated. What is going on? Why am I not being able to serve him? Why am I not being able to do any or render any service to him? So this is the difference between material consciousness and spiritual consciousness. In material consciousness, one becomes very happy when everybody is serving. Spiritual consciousness means one wants to become a servant of the servant of the servant. So AdvaitaAcharya was burning in this frustration. He was thinking of this pastime of Bhrigu. How Bhrigu went to Vaikuntha and he put his feet on the chest of Lord Vishnu, and how Lord Vishnu conquered Bhrigu by becoming his servant. He was thinking that the Lord can defeat personalities like Bhrigu. I will also do something, and I will force the Lord to accept me as a servant. Only if he becomes angry and he chastises me, that is a sign that he has accepted me as his servant. So what will make Lord Chaitanya angry? What do you think? Yes. Two things make Lord Chaitanya very angry. One is impersonalism and the second is Vaishnava. AdvaitaAcharya didn't dare to choose the path of Vaishnava. That is too heavy even for AdvaitaAcharya. So what to speak of us? So he thought, I will preach impersonalism. Thinking like this, he smiled to himself and made a perfect plan. And to execute that perfect plan, he again went to Shantipur. So you see, all these leelas are happening there. He somehow got a copy of Yoga Vasishtha, which is the commentary of Shankaracharya. And he started reading that, studying that in order to preach impersonalism. And he was preaching with so much enthusiasm that impersonalism is the root of devotional service. Impersonalism are like the two eyes, and devotional service is like a mirror. Without this impersonalism or without the two eyes, what is the use of that mirror? In that lines he started preaching. And Nimai Pandit, one day, he was roaming with Nityananda Prabhu in the holy land of Navadvip, feeling very satisfied to see the beauty of Navadvip, feeling very satisfied to meet the perfect devotees of Navadvip, such as Bolavich, Sri Bharadwaj, Srivas Thakur. He was feeling very happy that Brahma has done a very good job in creating this Navadvip here, making all arrangements. He was feeling very satisfied in his heart. And all of a sudden he told Nityananda Prabhu, let's go to Shantipur to meet AdvaitaAcharya. And then both the brothers, they jumped in the Ganges and they started swimming through it. But Nityananda Prabhu wanted to establish so many lessons via the medium of Gauranga also. So he took a slight deviation. We are going towards Shantipur, but here is a short deviation, a short break. He took him to a place called Lalitpur to meet a different kind of sannyasi. Some of you know it. His Holiness Bhakti Purushottam Swami Maharaj calls it as a Dadi sannyasi. Some people call it as a Tantric sannyasi. Anyways, there is a lesson intended here, that's why I am discussing it. Nityananda Prabhu had went to all the holy places in India and he had associated with all kinds of sadhus. So he really knew what was going on in the house of this service. Still he took Gauranga Mahaprabhu Now please take note that Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a very elevated preacher. He preaches to Sarvabhaumapatacharya, Prakashananda Saraswati, but this category of people. But Nityananda Prabhu preaches to everybody. And by this potency, Nityananda Prabhu took Nimai Pandit, the crest jewel of all the Vijayas, into the house of their Adi Sannyasi. When these both brothers came to the house, then he was very happy to see Gauranga and Nityananda. He was completely attracted to the beautiful charisma and form of Gauranga and Nityananda. Simply by the presence of Nityananda Prabhu and Gauranga Mahaprabhu, the desire to serve came in his heart. And he started saying, please accept something, some prasad in my house. And Nimai Pandit was being very humble. You are a sannyasi, please bless us. So he blessed Nimai Pandit that may you get a lot of money, may you get all wealth and opulences, may you get a very, very beautiful wife, may you get a lot of social reputation, may you get puja, labh, man, pratishtha, all that kind of blessing here. Nimai Pandit was shocked. He said, what kind of a blessing is this? You should bless me so that I can develop love of Krishna. This is a good blessing. What is this blessing getting puja, labh, man, pratishtha, which ends as soon as the body ends? This Dadi Sannyasi became a little angry. He said, you are a small boy. I have traveled to all the holy places in India and I have met all the different devotees and I know the conclusion of the scriptures. Think realistically, Nimai Pandit, if you don't have money, if you don't have prestige, and if you do not enjoy your senses, how will you be able to preach Krishna consciousness? How will you be able to chant the lyrics? This was a very valid question. Nimai Pandit was very silent. He was looking at Nityananda Prabhu, what you brought me here. Nityananda Prabhu was signaling that, please wait, climax is coming. Nityananda Prabhu said that he wanted to feed us, right? Jesus, I want to feed you. So he brought some mangoes and he gave it. And believe it or not, both Gauranga and Nityananda accepted those mangoes and they were eating in the house of the Dadi Sannyasi. But then this Dadi Sannyasi wanted to take the bliss at the next level. He asked Gauranga and Nityananda, do you want some ananda? Nimai Pandit said, what ananda? But because Nityananda had also traveled to all the holy places and met all different kinds of people, he said, no, we don't want that. So Nimai Pandit was not able to understand that if he wants to give us some ananda, let him give us. Maybe he'll talk about Krishna. Then the climax came. Then walked in the wife of this sannyasi with some liquor in her hands. Nimai Pandit, as soon as he saw this, he said, what is this? This is absolute corruption of Sanatana Dharma. And then he threw the mangoes and he ran out. Nityananda followed him and both of them jumped in the Ganges and took bath. Now, please remember they were going to Shantipur. On the way going to Shantipur, they did this pastime. So what is the purport of this pastime? This Dadi Sannyasi was a Mithyacharya. He was not a sannyasi. Gauranga and Nityananda are ready to accept the service of a Mithyacharya also to deliver them. But they have nothing to do with an impersonalist. This is the purport of this pastime. That if a Mithyacharya somehow has a desire to serve, I want to offer some mangoes. I want to do something clean. I want to offer this something. Gauranga and Nityananda are so merciful, especially Lord Nityananda is so merciful that he will accept that service. But if someone is an impersonalist, the Lord has nothing to do. Both Nityananda Prabhu and Gauranga Mahaprabhu have nothing to do. So both the brothers now started back on their way to Shantipur. And every once in a while, he used to display his mood as a Supreme Personality of God. He started while swimming in the river. He said, "My dear Nada, I was very peacefully residing in the Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world. You woke me up by your loud cries of chanting my holy names, and you forced me to descend in the spiritual world. And now, by your own words, you are criticizing my name, form, qualities, and pastimes by preaching impersonalism." And Nityananda was hearing it and smiling. Then all of a sudden, they reached the banks of the river Ganges. And on the banks only, AdvaitaAcharya was sitting and conducting a top class of Mayavada, speaking Yoga Vashishta. Just like when an elephant comes out of a river carrying a lotus in its trunk, how beautiful is the scene. This is not a sufficient comparison. When Gauranga and Nityananda came out of the Ganges and they saw AdvaitaAcharya preaching impersonalism in Shantipur. And when AdvaitaAcharya saw that Gauranga Mahaprabhu has come, he started preaching a little more enthusiastically, a little more display of hands and signals that yes, I am the Acharya here. And Gauranga Mahaprabhu is walking towards AdvaitaAcharya and listening to that impersonalism and is exhibiting visible anger. Haridas Thakur also used to sit in that Mayavada class and laugh whenever AdvaitaAcharya used to teach that, because Haridas Thakur knew the heart of AdvaitaAcharya. And Nityananda Prabhu and Haridas Thakur, they sat together, old associates to teach to the guy and wife, and they are like, "How are you? I'm good, I'm fine. And just wait and watch what's going to happen." So both Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Thakur are sitting in the Mayavada class of AdvaitaAcharya, and Gauranga Mahaprabhu comes up to the asana and challenges AdvaitaAcharya that you please tell me, what is the highest truth? Is it impersonalism or is it pure devotional service under the lotus feet of Krishna? I demand this answer from you. AdvaitaAcharya, listening to Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he said, impersonalism is the root of devotional service. Just like Krishna jumped on the dais of Kamsa, caught his head and dragged him down. Chaitanya Bhagavat describes in a similar fashion Mahaprabhu jumped on the dais of the asana where AdvaitaAcharya was sitting. He dragged him down and started punching him with his fists. And AdvaitaAcharya was smiling and listening. See that Gaurani came running, my dear Gauranga. He is not in so much calmness, the way I said. She was in total anxiety and she was thinking, this is an old man, he will die if you continue beating him. Don't beat him. And all the students whom AdvaitaAcharya was preaching were seeing this. Nityananda was laughing and Haridas Thakur was laughing. And then after beating AdvaitaAcharya sufficiently, he sat down, and Nimai Pandit also became very serious and started shedding tears. At that time, AdvaitaAcharya asked him, "My dear Lord, where are your flattering words now? You always flattered me as a spiritual master. Where are your menial services now? You always took the dust of my lotus feet. Where is that attitude now? You have beaten up me today. I understand that today you have accepted me as your servant." And Lord Chaitanya first smiled and then he felt embarrassed. The purport here is that AdvaitaAcharya is a personality out of love for whom even Lord Chaitanya accepts defeat. He was not displaying the mood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Daily, whenever he would meet AdvaitaAcharya, he would go and take the dust of his lotus feet. And when Krishna decides to do something, nothing can stop. So who can stop Lord Chaitanya taking the dust of the lotus feet of AdvaitaAcharya? AdvaitaAcharya was dying daily. But I am a servant. I am a servant of a servant. And I have come here to serve. But what what is this indifference which the Lord is showing me? So at that time, Lord Chaitanya exhibited his heart and he said, my dear Acharya, you are very dear to me. If anybody criticizes you, in millions of kalpas, they will never receive devotional service to Krishna. Nobody should criticize devotees. Yesterday, Shantipur class also meditated. But sometimes we have our own justification to criticize. Just like the Ritviks, they accept Prabhupada as their spiritual master, but they never know whether Prabhupada has accepted them or not. Similarly, we may find some good justification to criticize a devotee, but we should always understand whether the Lord will accept that justification and criticism or not. The Lord shows no tolerance when it comes to aparadha. Niraparad naam love padakarim. This is another lesson. We have to be conducting ourselves in such a way, devoid of Vaishnava Vrinda, Vaishnava Aparad, Nam Aparad, Seva Aparad, Nam Aparad. And then we have to simply chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And then it is the promise of the Lord that love of God will be awarded. And between the two of them, AdvaitaAcharya and Lord Nityananda, Lord Chaitanya, they wanted to establish this fact that how impersonalism is absolutely unbearable to Lord Chaitanya to the degree that he can beat a devotee also. He can become angry also. He can give up his mood as a devotee and assume the mood of Supreme Personality of Godhead if somebody is an impersonalist. So this AdvaitaAcharya established that how much Lord Chaitanya hates Vaishnava Aparadha and how much he hates impersonalism, and all this happened in Shantipur, where we are going to go today. Now, these are the pre-sannyas pastimes which happened in Shantipur. There are many other pastimes also. But due to lack of time, we will focus on a few. Now, there is another pastime that is the sannyas, post-sannyas pastime. When the Lord takes sannyas in Katwa, and then he starts chanting the prayers of Avanti Brahmana to explain to the whole world what is the meaning of sannyas. Nobody should take sannyas for the purpose of puja, bhav, man, pratishtha, or whatever. Sannyas is an opportunity to serve in the mood of Atma Nivedanam, where one dedicates their mind, body, and words for the service of Krishna for the rest of eternity. Sannyas means become actually the servant of the servant of the servant. And Lord Chaitanya was displaying what it means to be a sannyasi. So he was in ecstasy and he decided that he wants to go to Vrindavan. And then Nityananda was with him, Bunda was also with him. And they were all going. In the way, he met some cowherd boys. And Lord Chaitanya asked the cowherd boys to chant Hare Krishna. And he showed a lot of affection for these cowherd boys. And these cowherd boys, getting the association of Mahaprabhu, the touch of Mahaprabhu, the instruction of Mahaprabhu, when they started chanting Hare Krishna, a big Sankirtan happened, and the boys are dancing, the Lord is dancing, and the Lord is going in ecstasy. During this, Nityananda took the cowherd boys aside and he said, after this Kirtan, when Swamiji will ask you, where is Vrindavan? Point in the direction of Ganges and not in the direction of Vrindavan. And these boys said, okay, we will do that. And then the same thing happened. After the Kirtan, when Lord Chaitanya asked them, where is Vrindavan? Where is Yamuna? The boys pointed in the opposite direction. In the meanwhile, Nityananda told Chandrasekhar Acharya to go to Shantipur again and ask AdvaitaAcharya to come in a boat and bring some dry clothes. AdvaitaAcharya did that. On the way, Nityananda was following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, how much more distance is Vrindavan? Nityananda is very close. just see, like, this is Yamuna, this is visible. And Lord Chaitanya came into complete ecstasy. He ran towards the Ganges, thinking it is Yamuna, offered full dandavats, and said some beautiful prayers that how Yamuna is the essence of the mercy of Krishna. How anybody who bathes in Yamuna becomes freed from the material bondages. How all the pastimes of Krishna have been done in Yamuna. How Yamuna is so glorious that it is the crest jewel of the entire universe. And then we started glorifying Yamuna. And we jumped in Yamuna. He was dancing in ecstasy, offering prayers, etc. At this point of time, AdvaitaAcharya came in a boat. And he obstructed the ecstasy of Mahaprabhu and he said, "My dear Lord, please accept some drivers." Mahaprabhu asked, "AdvaitaAcharya, you didn't tell me that you are also in Vrindavan?" See how nice is this Yamuna? So AdvaitaAcharya revealed to Mahaprabhu that, "My dear Lord, you are in Shantipur." So at that time, Lord Chaitanya said, "Oh, Nityananda Prabhu has cheated." Now AdvaitaAcharya showed transcendental intelligence. He said that, see, at Prayag, both Ganga and Yamuna meet. And from Prayag, the eastern side is called as Ganga, and the western side is called as Yamuna. And you are on the western side now, so you are actually in Yamuna. So Nityananda Prabhu has not lied to you. You are in Yamuna. But I wanted to go to Vrindavan. My dear Lord, wherever you are, that is enough. My dear Lord, you have been fasting from 3 days. Please accept these clothes. And I have made little rice and one wet sabzi. That's all. I am a poor man. Please come and accept little rice and wet sabzi in my house. In this way, by the assistance of Nityananda Prabhu, AdvaitaAcharya brought Mahaprabhu back to Shantipur again with a purpose. The purpose was, everybody wanted, Mahaprabhu also wanted, devotees also wanted, Sachimata also wanted to meet him again. So in this way he was brought to Shantipur. And then, although AdvaitaAcharya said, "I have made little rice and one wet sabzi," but when he went to the house of AdvaitaAcharya, he saw it is not just one wet sabzi. It was hundreds of preparations. And there were 3 asanas made. So he asked Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya to sit on that asana. Lord Chaitanya said, "I am a sannyasi, give me some lafra, give me some boiled vegetables." At that time, AdvaitaAcharya comments that, "My dear Lord, I know who you are. You accept hundreds of pots of various offerings 54 times a day in Jagannath Puri. This is not at all an offering also. This is not at all fulfilling to your appetite also. So please just sit down and AdvaitaAcharya was so devoted to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya was so much controlled by the love of AdvaitaAcharya that he just sat down and started having whatever AdvaitaAcharya was serving. And again, Nityananda Prabhu and AdvaitaAcharya, they have a fasting. Nityananda Prabhu says that I am also fasting from 3 days, but this rice and sabzi is so less that it's not even worth eating. It's not even, how will my hunger be satisfied? Of course, these discussions also have deep purpose. But let's focus on this Shantipur pastime. So, the next day, Shachimata, she arrived in a palanquin along with many other devotees of Navadvip. And it is there in Shantipur, the place where we will go today, in the house of AdvaitaAcharya, where post-sannyas Shachimata meets Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is a very, very deep exchange between the mother and the son, where what it means to truly love someone is displayed. Lord Chaitanya, when he met his mother, he offered multiple times obeisances to his mother. And he was telling that, my dear mother, it is because of you that I have any devotion to Krishna today in my heart. My dear mother, this body is your property. It should have been used in your service, but I have acted like a madman and taken sannyas. But now that I have met you again today, you order me what should be done. Whatever you will say, I will do. Now, Mother Shachi could have easily said, okay, come back to me. But she truly loved me. She truly loved Sri Krishna Chaitanya. And she was really wanting him to be happy. She knew that if a sannyasi comes and stays in the home, the whole world will criticize that sannyasi. Especially when the young ex-wife of the sannyasi is also staying in that home. The love of Mother Shachi was so pure, so uncontaminated and so selfless that Nimai Pandit's happiness, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's happiness, was the reason why she was existing. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's happiness is Mother Shachi's happiness. And Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's distress is Mother Shachi's distress. Considering these points, she called the devotees and she said that you please tell Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my son, to kindly reside in Jagannath Puri. Jagannath Puri and Nadia are like two rooms of the same house. The devotees keep regularly going, and I will keep getting some news about my son. And that news will be my lifeline. I will be able to sustain my life if I constantly get information about my son. And as soon as Mahaprabhu heard this, he immediately agreed. And then it was decided that Mahaprabhu will stay there and have some prasad. Everybody started volunteering. AdvaitaAcharya said, it's my house, let me cook. Srivas Thakur said, I will cook. All the other devotees started saying, one day I will cook, one day I will cook. Mother Shachi folded hands, requested all the devotees that see, all of you can meet my son whenever you want. Please consider my situation. This is probably the last time I am seeing the face of my boy. Please let me cook for him. Please let me serve. Please let me have the happiness of him relishing whatever I cook. At least for one last time in my life. So here in Shantipur, where we are going today, is the kitchen, which we will see today, where Shachi Mata made last meal, which she personally fed to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And she really knew what Mahaprabhu likes, so she made many preparations. She didn't cook like one rice, one dal. She made 20 different kinds of sharp items only, spinach items. And Lord Chaitanya really likes spinach. And by this time, as the preparation is going on, ecstatic kirtan is happening. Now, the union becomes more ecstatic and more relishable when there is a pain of separation behind. That's why Lord Krishna puts the Brajvasis in a bottomless ocean of love of separation. There is no end to this pain of separation. So that when he meets them again, the relation will be at the highest platform. So therefore, one of the common characteristics of all the kirtans which happen in Shantipur in the house of AdvaitaAcharya is that these kirtans, they contain ecstasies of reunion. Where Shachi Mataji is meeting Mahaprabhu. Later on another occasion, on the disappearance day of Madhavendra Puri, without giving prior notice, Lord Chaitanya again comes to Shantipur. And then also, ecstatic kirtan of reunion. So all today when we go to Shantipur, we should do ecstatic kirtan. In the mood of reunion. Many lifetimes of pain and separation and forgetfulness. Today we will meet the Lord again. In that mood we should. Because that is the mood of all the kirtans. Human words, human mind, human intelligence. Even Brahma cannot describe, no mortal can describe the ecstasy and the emotions which were there in the kirtans which were happening in the house of AdvaitaAcharya in Shantipur. They were so ecstatic that the Lord used to roar like a lion and jump in the air. In one lecture, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj described that as the Lord jumped in the air, in sheer bliss, midway in the air he would become unconscious. And then he would crash on the floor. And when Shachi Mataji would see this, her heart would break. So as a mother, she prayed to Krishna, my dear Lord, if I have done any devotional service, in my life, right from my childhood, if I have ever served any of your devotees with my sincere heart, if I have ever chanted your holy names, in return of the entire devotional service which I have done in my entire life, I just ask for one benediction. In return of my entire bhakti, I ask for only one benediction. That when my son jumps in kirtan and falls down on the floor, may he not get any hurt. So these are the kind of prayers which are being done in Shantipur. It's very difficult to conceive these prayers. So today, Lord Chaitanya used to be wild in the house of AdvaitaAcharya in Shantipur. He used to be wild in ecstasy. He used to be wild in Krishna consciousness. Krishna Katha during the day, intense kirtan in the night, and prasadam being served by Mother Shachi. And how Lord Chaitanya used to honor that prasadam is also a lesson. When he would sit to honor that prasadam, first he would offer repeated obeisances to that prasadam. He would say what to eat. Even by the glimpse of this prasadam, even by the fragrance of this prasadam, one will attain love for Krishna. After offering multiple dandavats to that prasadam cooked by his mother, he would circumambulate that bhoga, that prasadam, and then he would sit and eat with so much relishment. Lord Chaitanya would give blessings that this shak preparation, the name of this shak preparation is Mukunda. Anybody who eats this shak preparation will attain liberation from material life. This shak preparation's name is Govinda. Anybody who eats this shak preparation offered to Krishna will be able to engage all their senses in the service of Krishna. This shak preparation's name is Acyuta. Anybody who eats this shak preparation will remain infallible in their practice of devotional service. Like this, he was blessing, and with so much relishment, he would eat the food cooked by his mother. So we are going to go in the same place where all this has happened. Lord Chaitanya stayed for 10 days just to relish the prasadam of Mother Shachi and has attained the association of the residents of Navdeep again. When Lord Chaitanya decided that it's time to go, he went to seek the blessings of AdvaitaAcharya, Shantipur Nath. At that time, AdvaitaAcharya blessed him. Then I bless you that you may remain here for another 3 days. when he was about to go to Jagannath Puri, people were warning him of the various obstacles which will be there in the path of going to Jagannath. How circumstances were not favorable. At that time, AdvaitaAcharya comments, all the obstacles are servants of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is another lesson which we should take away. That all the obstacles are happening, or they are the servants of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is happening by the inconceivable desire of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wants us to offer an opportunity where we will go deeper in our relationship with Hari, Guru, Vaishnavas and scriptures and the holy name, while going through and growing through that obstacle. Whether it means separation from a loving friend like Radhesham Prabhu, or whether it means some serious obstacle in life or in the path of devotional service, it is not coming without the inconceivable desire of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So every obstacle should be considered as a servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and one should take this opportunity to go deeper in their relationships with Hari, Guru, Vaishnavas, scriptures, and the holy name. As they say, Dushkaram, Sukaram, Bhavet. Every obstacle, Lord Chaitanya will never give us a question paper or an obstacle which we cannot overcome. He will never give a question paper which we cannot solve. He knows us. So he will always be there in the form of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra to help us. If we can simply have faith in the mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and face the obstacles, then we will definitely overcome all the obstacles. All the obstacles, according to AdvaitaAcharya, they are the servants of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. It is in Shantipur only where Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu met Raghunath Das Goswami and told him not to engage in corporate vairagya, to continue behaving like a pounds and shilling man while chanting Hare Krishna. And when the right time comes, then Sri Krishna will liberate him. So there are many pastimes which are happening in Shantipur. It was here in Shantipur only that Lord AdvaitaAcharya displayed what it means to be a family man, being a devotee of Krishna. There is a very famous son of AdvaitaAcharya whose name is Acyuta. He had so much love for Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya had so much love for him that it cannot be explained. Vrindavan Das Thakur says that nobody got so much love as much Acyutananda got from Lord Chaitanya. Once one sannyasi came in the house of AdvaitaAcharya in Shantipur and asked him, what is the relationship between Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and I'm just forgetting the name of the sannyasi. Sannyasi's name? Keshav Bharti. Yeah. What is the relationship between Keshav Bharti and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So AdvaitaAcharya is thinking that Lord Chaitanya is the spiritual master of all spiritual masters. So just to uplift and for some confidential reasons to associate with other ignorant sannyasis, he has taken initiation seemingly from sannyasa initiation, seemingly from Keshav Bharti, but this is the spiritual angle. But I don't know this person who has come here. The material angle is yes, he has accepted him as his guru. So let me start with this angle. So he said yes, the relationship between Keshav Bharti and Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that Keshav Bharti is the spiritual master or sannyasa guru of Lord Chaitanya. At that time, the 5-year-old son, Acyutananda, who was naked, not even wearing clothes, comes running and scolds his father. That, my dear father, I was considering you as my Shiksha Guru. You are telling that this Keshav Bharti is the spiritual master of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has put the knowledge of Vedas in the heart of Brahma, and from Brahma all the Vedic knowledge has been disseminated in this entire universe, and all the sampradayas are following in the line of that Vedic knowledge, and everybody is following their spiritual master, and in that line of succession, this Keshav Bharati is also coming, and you are telling that Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a disciple of Keshav Bharati. I reject you as my Shiksha Guru. I am ashamed to have you as my father. And that sannyasi is looking at AdvaitaAcharya and looking at the 5-year-old Achyutananda, who was covered only by the 4 directions. And he is thinking, like father, like son. So this is the family life of AdvaitaAcharya. He embraced his son Achyutananda and he said that from today you are my father, I am your son. And Vrindavan Das Thakur describes that AdvaitaAcharya took the dust from each and every limb of Achyutananda and put on his head. And all this happened in Shantipur. Once AdvaitaAcharya decided to conduct the disappearance day of his spiritual master, Sripad Madhavendra Puri. And Vrindavan Das Thakur describes that he used everything which he had. Everything means everything, the entire life's savings, strength, money, intelligence, everything just to conduct one ceremony, the disappearance day of his spiritual master. And he invited all the devotees to Shantipur. And he made arrangements for them to stay. The Chaitanya Bhagavan described in great detail how there were rooms of banana leaves, rooms of rice, rooms of different vegetables to be cooked, rooms of so many ingredients. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not invited. But without invitation, unannounced, he came to Shantipur again to see this disappearance day celebration, where a disciple is trying to serve Krishna using everything he has in his life in the service of his Guru. This loving devotional service of AdvaitaAcharya attracted Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he came in Shantipur again. And again that kirtan of reunion started. And then it continued. And Lord Chaitanya made a comment, seeing the preparations, seeing the kind of arrangements, that only Lord Shiva is capable of doing such kind of arrangements and preparations. And in that way he revealed the identity of AdvaitaAcharya. This is just a gist of the pastimes, the eternal pastimes, the unlimited pastimes which are happening in Shantipur. We are very, very fortunate today that we are going there in the association with the devotees. Let's also chant the holy names very loudly, the way Gauranga Mahaprabhu used to chant, the way AdvaitaAcharya, in their memory we will chant today in the mood of reunion. We will see that kitchen where Mother Shachi had cooked. We will see that place where Lord Chaitanya had stayed. We will be in that very place where Raghunath Das Goswami was helped by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where Achyutananda grew up. That very place where AdvaitaAcharya started calling for Lord Chaitanya with tears in his eyes, Ganges and Tulsi leaves in his hand. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.